Fasting is our topic of our group, which is number 5. I'm Jenny.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Samantha.
And I'm Shreya.
The diet name is intermittent fasting. There's 3 widely studied intermittent fasting regimens that includes alternate day, 5 and 2, and then daily time restricted feeding. 5 to 2 is fasting 2 days out of each week. The result of this is the diets that reduce the calorie intake on 1 day or more each week resulted in elevated levels of ketone bodies. The body switches from glucose to fatty acids and ketone for fuel sources, and ketone has major effects on cell and organs.
Fasting, slow aging. Fasting stimulates DNA repair, reduces free radicals, and decreases the risk of chronic diseases. So caloric restriction reduces oxidative stress, which is free radicals, and increases the production of antioxidants, which fight against the free radicals. Essentially, fasting forces your cells to partake in other activities. And during caloric restrictions, cells must find other ways to receive energy, improving the glucose regulation of your body. These activated cell pathways also reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, chronic diseases, and repairs damaged molecules. So normally after eating, our body uses the glucose as energies and stores the fat in triglycerides. But during fasting, the triglycerides are broken into fatty acids and glycerol, and they're used for energy. So essentially, fasting makes your body use your stored fat for energy. And this image right here is just displaying how fasting uses your stored body fat for energy.
And now, the results of 2 studies, mainly preliminary studies, mainly on mice and rats. We've actually found pretty promising results for this. The first study, effects of intermittent fasting on health and aging, and I quote, in a meta-analysis of preliminary trials of mice and rats, caloric restrictions increased the lifespan from 14 to 45%. Well, it's a little less promising with mice and about 2 to 27%. That's still a pretty large increase. The reason behind these increases is theorized to be improved ketone levels in rodents, which, when be under the sort of caloric restriction diet, increase the amount of ketones in the rodents, which, are known to regulate the proteins and molecules which regulate aging. The second study, caloric intake and fasting, also states that, quote, preliminary data suggests that the physiologic changes in monkeys, this was a study on monkeys, in response to caloric restrictions are similar to those in rodents. Circulating insulin and glucose concentrations are decreased, insulin sensitivity improves, and body temperature is lowered. Now, the monkey studies are still very much in their early stages. They haven't fully developed. As you know, monkeys have a much longer lifespan than rats, and so studies are still ongoing. But they do share promising results, with the ones talking about body temperature being lowered. This can reduce oxidative intake and can lead to a reduced metabolism, which is inversely proportional to lifespan. This is sort of the decreasing of oxidative stress, less free radicals, and so on and so forth. However, these are only really preliminary studies. There haven't really been any large-scale studies on caloric restrictions on humans that aren't specifically focused on reducing weight and stuff. Most of the studies have been on people with obesity and such. So we're still waiting on full results, but what we have now is very promising.
Okay, so in conclusion, research has shown that intermittent fasting can lead to a reduction in the likelihood of developing diseases and ailments that typically come along with old age. Some of these include regulating blood pressure, heart rate, fat loss, and glucose level, and all of these health factors have to be monitored with aging. So intermediate fasting actually works by reducing the production of free radicals, which is what we talked about earlier, which means less damage accumulates that leads to aging in the cells. However, it was also found in a study that women who fasted for over 14 hours a day had a near double risk of gallstone disease over women who only fasted for 8 hours or less. So as of current time, it is only recommended for people with diseases that intermittent fasting has demonstrated to be effective to take part in this fasting method. It is not yet recommended to utilize as an anti-aging intervention method, but with more research in the future, a specific fasting method could be developed that focuses on aging properties. And then these are all of our citations, and then that is it on intermittent fasting. Thank you so much. How do I stop it?